What's going on, guys? Alex Eubank here, coming at you with another YouTube video. Today's video is going to be really important. It's going to be the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to dieting, as well as some tips that I have for when it comes to cutting and bulking. Alright, so I got my stuff back from my MRI. I talked to my doctor yesterday. So I had a full dislocation. They were really surprised at how fast I've been able to recover and how much movement I have in it. All my rotator cuff muscles are good. The only issue is I have a small tear in my labrum. Whatever, yeah, that's what it is. So I'm doing some PT for a while, and if that doesn't help, then I might have to get surgery, or if I dislocate it again, I might have to. I can't do any movements out here. I'm using my right arm. I can't do any movements out here. I can't do any vertical presses. I can't really bench press for a little bit, sadly, so hopefully I can get back to training regularly soon. I'm still working out. I'm just not able to do certain things that I want to do. I have to modify it a lot, which sucks. But yeah, I also just got highlights yesterday, so I don't know if you can see it well, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And I got a tattoo. It's the day that I got baptized, so yeah, a little update, got some stuff done. But yeah, so let's get into the video. Alright, so the first thing that we're gonna be going over is glycemic index. So a lot of people, when they get into dieting, they think that oh, fruits are really healthy, stuff like that, and they just want to eat a ton of fruit. So one of the biggest mistakes I would say is not knowing what a glycemic index is. Now, the glycemic index is a scale from 1 to 100, I believe, something like that. Basically, the higher number on the scale, the more that that carb source, or that source of sugar, is going to spike your insulin levels and could lead to fat gain. So basically, you want to stick to low glycemic foods. So whole grains, for example, are going to be foods that are low on the glycemic scale. So stay away from white breads, white pastas and stuff like that. And if you're going to have that type of carb source, go to whole grains, and brown rice over white rice, stuff like that. When it comes to fruits, you got to stay away from really overly ripe bananas, because they're going to be really, really sweet. Any fruits that have the skin on them is going to be really good. It's going to be lower on the scale because the fiber in the skin is going to slow the digestion down, so it's not going to make your insulin spike as much. So what I do for a lot of my carb sources, I usually look up the glycemic index scale, and I try to make sure that it's either 50 or below is what I try to stay around. I know one thing is a lot of people, especially females, when they get into diet crazes, they go for all these big fruit smoothies, right? They'll load it up with fruits, and it's really, really high in sugar. And if you just drink that without having any protein source or fat source with it, or fiber source, it's gonna raise your blood sugar up really, really high. So if you're gonna make fruit smoothies, add stuff like spinaches, kale, anything that has good fiber in it, so we can slow down that digestion. Second thing we're going to be going over is crash dieting. So a lot of people who try talking to me about dieting, they're like, what happens if I eat one meal a day? What happens if I am only eating 1,500, 1,200 calories a day? That is really, really bad for you. People think that just because you go lower and don't eat as much food that you're going to lose fat. But that's not how your body works. Your body's really, really smart. What your body's going to do is its metabolism is going to crash because you're not getting enough fuel in. Your body's smart, so instead of being able to eat instead of your daily expenditure, your maintenance calories being around 2,500, if you crash diet, your body's going to lower its metabolism, so you'll end up gaining more fat in the long run because your metabolism is going to be so low. It's going to be hard for you to eat and then not gain weight. So basically, the moral of the story is, do not crash cut. Do not just eat one meal a day. You need to be eating at a healthy amount of food, to where you're having 3 to 4 to 5 meals a day throughout the day, where your metabolism is going to keep burning, instead of just giving it one meal, or limiting so much to where your body's going to be damn, I'm not getting the nutrients I need, so let's slow the processes down and lower the metabolism. So that's not what you want. You want to keep your metabolism as high as you can, so that you can kind of satisfy yourself with eating as much food as you want while still being able to lose weight. So yeah, don't crash cut. Find your daily expenditure using if it fits your macros calculator or the MyFitnessPal app. Mine, for example, my maintenance is around 2,600 calories. So when I'm cutting, I'm at about 2,300 to 2,400 right now. Also, on the other way, do not bulk up like crazy. Don't just be eating a ton of pizza and dirty bulking. You're gonna add so much more fat, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass to get rid of in the long run when you try cutting down that fat. Most of the time when you're just trying to get to that certain number on the scale when you're bulking, because I was like that. I was I want to get 190 as soon as I can, so I'm eating all this unhealthy food and gaining a lot of fat and glycogen and water weight, all that stuff. It's gonna be really bad in the long run. Don't do that. It's not the smart way to gain muscle. keep a steady increase over your maintenance, a steady surplus, and that's the best way you can do it. Yeah, so the next thing I'm kind of ties into that is the whole daily caloric intake thing. The biggest thing if you want to lose weight, especially, I think it's more important if you want to lose body fat, is tracking your macros. It's so important. I never did it for the longest time. Honestly, this year is probably the first time I've really been keeping up with tracking my macros. All you gotta do is go get a scale, something where you can, like, you know, weigh out the grams, milliliters, all that stuff. And you just gotta weigh your food. Using the MyFitnessPal app is really easy. Just scan the barcode wherever you're eating, put in how much, weigh how much you're eating of it, and it'll track your calories for you throughout the day. It's really easy. You can look up, like, if you're having like Chick-fil-A nuggets, you can look that up on the app and it'll show you what the macros are for it. So the only way you're gonna actually lose body fat is if you're eating under your maintenance. There's no other way it works. It's calories in versus calories out. You can't work out a bad diet, right? You can't just eat unhealthy and then do like hours and hours of cardio a day. It's so much harder to do. Best thing to do is track your macros. It'll be so much better and easier in the long run. I've been having a lot of good progress with it as I've been on my cut, and I'm really actually focusing on my macros. So the next tip I have is whole foods. I'd say to eat about 85 to 90% of whole foods if you can. It's gonna be the best bet for you to stay healthy, to get the right nutrients in. Now, technically, because of calories in versus calories out, you could eat unhealthy in a way as long as you're in a deficit, but like then you get in like the whole, you know, I don't even know what it is, but it's like foods that are more whole and digest differently will be better for your metabolism. It's just going to be better, easier for you to lose weight if you were just eating like sweets and unhealthy stuff throughout the day. So I really am big on eating whole foods. I always notice way more faster results when I'm eating whole foods, and I'm really counting on myself staying true to that when I'm in a diet or I'm in a cutting phase. I'll lose fat way quicker, and usually I feel like I maintain more muscle because of the healthier and whole foods, proteins, all that I'm eating. So like a tip for you guys for like what I eat personally when it comes to whole foods, I'm really big on eggs, bell peppers I like a lot, brown rice, beans, chicken, steak, ground turkey, salmon, cod. Sugar sources I get like honey, blueberries are great, apples, fruits that have skin on them I'm really big on, like I explained, any type of vegetable for the most part. But yeah, and it's really not boring. Like one of the things I do, like I don't just eat super healthy and like, you know, kill myself like, oh, like I want something like sugary to eat. But like people don't realize that eating healthy isn't even that bad. For example, I still have fun with my breakfasts and stuff like that. I got like the Kodiak cakes, really highly recommend that. They're like 100% whole grain, they're high in protein, high in good carbs. And I mix it with my protein powder. Just got like this Redcon 1 oatmeal chocolate chip protein powder. Literally the best thing I've tasted in my whole life. It's so good. So I mix that with like almond milk, an egg, protein powder, and the Kodiak cake mix. And I'll make these super smacking pancakes like almost every morning now. Tastes so good, gets rid of my sweet tooth, and they're really healthy. So yeah, just if you get bored with the whole foods thing, just look up different diets online. There's a ton of stuff out there on the internet for free. You can find like different recipes to make that are really healthy, high in protein, good carbs that you can eat that taste good. Next tip is refeeds. I just had a refeed the other day. So what a refeed is, it's a planned day where you eat above your maintenance. So this is specifically for when you're dieting, right? So when you're in a cutting phase and you're in a deficit for so long, your body, you end up getting a little tired, might be losing some strength, lack of energy, your metabolism might start slowing down. So to kind of rev your metabolism back up and give yourself that little extra boost, you should have a refeed. I say every like 1 to 2 weeks. I'm personally trying to do every 2 weeks. So you have a planned day where you eat in a surplus. So it's kind of like a big cheat day, and usually you go to carb source for that, you know, cheat food. So like I had cake and I ate like, all this stuff because I was in a deficit for about 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a refeed, and I just ate a bunch of junk food at night. Probably not like advising that, but yeah, there's a day you can have a refeed where you kind of just eat a lot more calories. It helps satisfy you a little bit, and it'll give your metabolism a boost. So definitely try those out. Other little things, like I said earlier, you can't work out a bad diet. For example, if you like eat like 300 calories or like snacks and stuff like that, to burn 300 calories by working out would be like going on a Stairmaster for like 30 to 35 minutes at a good pace, or walking at a 13-degree incline on a treadmill, like speed walking for 30 minutes. So if you really want to eat like all those snacks and then go do all that extra cardio, go ahead, but it's really easier just to kind of eat the healthier foods instead of doing that. Another one is fat burners. I don't take any fat burners. I don't think that they work like that. I mean, some people I guess might say they have results with it, but I feel like a lot of it is kind of just like, I don't know. You can't, if you just take fat burners and expect to lose fat, it's not gonna work. You're gonna have to combine it with like cardio, being in a deficit and stuff like that to really take advantage of it. But I'm not personally big on fat burners because a lot of people use them for the wrong reasons. They're just like, yo, what fat burner supplements can I take to lose fat? It's not how it works. You gotta go to the important stuff first, which is being in a deficit and doing a little bit of cardio. For me, my cardio, I do about 30 minutes a week. steady pace on incline on the treadmill. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys learned something from it, got some tips and advice, you know, changed up your stuff if you were doing anything wrong. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Either comment down below or hit me up on my Instagram at alex_Eubank15. I've got 2 free programs in my highlights, so if you guys want to check those out, make sure to follow me. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Please keep praying for my shoulder because I really don't want to get surgery, and I'll see you guys in the next video.